Good evening. Our big story at 6. The president meets the press for the first time since well before his re-election.
Last time, I believe, was March. And with a lot on his plate in the coming weeks, the fiscal cliff, the Petraeus scandal, the attack in Benghazi, reporters had a lot of questions about the issues the president faces as he heads toward his second term in office. Scott Thuman was at the news conference this afternoon. He's live in the newsroom with more. Scott.
Yeah, Gordon, Maureen, any other time, this may have been a bit of a victory lap for the president, a formal news conference right after re-election. Instead, he had to address some very sensitive topics, as you pointed out, and few as dicey as David Petraeus and the affair that led to his resignation, which the president supposedly learned of just last week.
I hear you have some questions for me.
First up, his reaction to the David Petraeus sex scandal. Should he have known earlier?
Had we been told, then you'd be sitting here asking a question about why were you interfering in a criminal investigation.
He'll reserve judgment, he says, but until then praised Petraeus' service. The president did question Congress's actions to avoid the fiscal cliff.
The most important step we can take right now is if we right away say 98% of Americans are not going to see their taxes go up.
That means taking on Republicans and extending the Bush-era tax cuts for only families making less than $250,000 a year.
We could get that done by next week.
The fireworks came when talking about potential Secretary of State pick Susan Rice, heavily criticized today for her contradictory comments on the Benghazi attacks.
To besmirch her reputation is outrageous. When they go after the UN ambassador, apparently because they think she's an easy target, then they've got a problem with me.
Finally, facing a second term, how can he improve? Especially for critics who say he's failed to build effective relationships with leaders on the Hill.
I don't exempt myself from needing to do some self-reflection and see if I can improve our working relationship.
Now, the president today was also asked about mandates. Were there any that he sort of earned due to these election results? He said if there was, it was his role as someone to look out for the middle class. By the way, he also said at some point he does plan to meet with Mitt Romney to talk about ideas on job creation and how to cut wasteful spending. Maureen.